there are a lot of people that are not doing well. It seems to me that people are tired of being told that they have no control over the outcome of their lives and no control over their relationships. Because when you tell people it's not your fault this happened to you and it's okay that you're this way, which it is, I think people don't want to stay there anymore. And so people look to, I don't have to be weak all the time, or I don't have to feel weak. You can have a weak moment. It's not the same thing with feeling fundamentally weak or insecure or insignificant all the time, and then looking at a moment or a situation or moments in your life and saying, I'm this way now because of all these things that happened. And I think for a while that worked. I think for a while people were buying it. Because it's like, it's not your fault like you're like this. Now this happened to you here. It's not your fault that you don't trust people. This happened to you here. And so because that theme's been going on for so long, what it does is it renders you powerless. Because it's saying you're this way because of all this other stuff and it's not your fault. And that translates to, I have no power over it. I'm a result of what's happened to me. And that's a powerless state to be, which all it does is keep suppressing you down. So you just stay there instead of saying, it happened to you. Okay, now where do we go from here? And it's wild because I did consultations and mentor sessions for a window of time. And I would only do either 1 or 3. I wouldn't do more than that because the most important thing, I didn't want people to rely on me. It's like, I'll come in and I'll give you some guideposts. Because my goal is if I keep you coming back to me, then I'm not helping you. All I'm doing is reorienting you to come to me. I'm going to fix it for you. My goal was always, no, you have the ability. I might need to kind of shift things around or shake things up a little bit in your mindset. But in the end, you are very well capable. And most people are. They just don't learn. They just don't know how to trust themselves. I feel we waste so much time in trying to figure out, I'm like this today because of this, this, and this. Sometimes I have found there's no clear reason why. There's nothing to make sense of. Even sometimes when people try to assess, like, why does this person treat me this way? Why that? What did I do? Why this? Sometimes there are reasons, and sometimes that person's just an asshole. There's nothing to analyze. There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to dive deep on. That person, you just happen to fall on an asshole. And that's okay. Let's move on. So there's moments where that exists too, but I feel like we try so hard to figure it out that we do more damage. And your brain is like a bathtub. Your cognitive load is like a bathtub. Think of this as a bathtub. If you have a bathtub, the bathtub can only hold so much water. If you keep putting water in the bathtub, right? It's going to overflow. That's your cognitive load. So if I have my cognitive load, my bathtub, and I keep putting water, it's going to overflow. It's the same thing when you put stuff in there. I'm going to add more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. Your cognitive load is overflowing. It's maxed. You're inefficient. You're sloppy. You're not getting things done right. If you are, you're just barely getting there. You're everywhere. You're stressed out. You're frazzled because you're maxed out. You're beyond maxed out. So everything I do, and I will tell you, I learned this from watching presidents, I keep my load light. My bathtub only holds the water it needs to hold in. So it protects you from overextending yourself, stressing yourself, and it also keeps you from making bad decisions. You make good decisions. There's something called decision fatigue, where the more stuff I add, we think the busier I am, the better I am. I'm moving, I'm hustling, I'm doing all this stuff. Look how maxed out I am. Just because you're busy, it doesn't mean you're being productive. Those two things are not synonymous. So often people think leaders keep adding. No, you know what good leaders do? And this is what, again, I've learned. They take out of that bathtub. They take out. What can I do less of so I can be exceptional at the other things I do? Really great example. This is public knowledge, so I can share it. President Barack Obama. He had 30 of the same suits. He didn't want to sit and figure out what he's going to wear. It's a decision he didn't have to make. That keeps his bathtub light. Think about all the decisions he had to make every single day. I want a light bathtub. Boop, take that thing out. Lighten your bathtub. So when you're overthinking and overanalyzing and trying to process all this stuff, you are maxing out that bathtub. So how can you perform? You don't have infinite resources. You do not have an infinite cognitive load, and you do not have an infinite emotional load. Don't keep adding. Your job is to take out so that the things you do exceptionally well. And you're much more emotionally stable. Think of an iceberg. You see the top of the iceberg, the little blip at the top of the water, and then the big part underneath, which is the vast majority of what makes an iceberg. We're like that. When you see another human being, I want you to think of like got this huge bottom portion of this iceberg that you don't see. And it's who makes them what they are. So the things that make you who you are today are all the things that have accumulated over the entire time span of your life. Family is a huge one. Did you have family? Were they good family? Did you have one parent, both parents? Did you have any parents, right? Friends. Who are your friends growing up? Who are your friends now? Your experiences, your dramas, your traumas, all those things make you who you are. Your values, your belief systems, your personality. Do you know that personality in a human being forms in infancy? So all these things make you up. Even your age, who you are today is probably vastly different, Stephen, than who you were 5 years ago versus 10 years ago versus 15 years ago. That's somebody's iceberg. So when you take all of that, you have that iceberg. Do you think you're going to roll in and within what? A couple hours, a couple conversations, you're going to get them to what? Shift? That's what you're up against. So often people become very upset because they can't change other people. And that's why I'm like, accept what you had. I gave a keynote literally this week, and a woman came to me in tears at the end. This was at a business conference. So this was for business, for communication, and a very different thing. But she came up to me afterward. She said, I really want a guidance from you. I said, sure. What is it? Are you okay? She said, I have a husband and he's very overweight. And I've done everything I can to try to get him to change. And I want to try to use these influence strategies on him to change him that you talked about. Could you help guide me? I said, how long have you been dealing with this? She's like, oh, a long time, years. I said, does he want to change? No. She's like, but I try and I don't want to give up. I said, did you see that part where I talked about the iceberg? Remember I showed you the iceberg and I said, accept people as they are? I said, he's the iceberg. I said, it's not him that's the issue now, it's you. You're not accepting what you have in front of you. That's what he is. Unless you accept, you can't adapt. So what you're doing is you're not living in truth. You're living in what I hope he would be, what he has a potential to be, but not where he actually is now. When you accept where he is now, this is who he is, this is who he wants to be. The next question is, can you adapt to that? Meaning, are you okay with that, adapting to his lifestyle and staying with him? That's the thing. What she's trying to do is change him, make him fit, so that she can have what she wants. Wrong. She's trying to solve the wrong problem. He's not changing. This is it. This is what you've got. The question now is, I accept my problem. I live in truth. This is how my husband wants to be. Can I adapt my lifestyle so that I can still stay with him? Or is that a big of a deal breaker where I have to pull away? She was asking the wrong question because she's not seeing the truth in her problem, meaning this is who he is fundamentally. You've been trying for years to change him and you're trying to make your life better to the point where you're emotionally upset. Like she was so upset about it. And I said, but you're trying to solve something that you can't solve. This is a whole other person. This iceberg, this bottom part, he doesn't want it. He's fixed. What's happening is, this is called adaptability. We want to adapt to our problems. She's not adapting to her problem. She's not accepting what her problem is. The problem is, this is my husband, this is who he is, and this is who he wants to be.